Hi guys, I'm back with another video. So I thought that this week I would just sort of show you guys the art supplies that I use the most, what I'm most comfortable with, and hopefully some recommendations. So I won't really go into too much detail about them because like in the future I'll want to do like paper type videos and like comparing and contrasting different inking supplies and inking tools, of course. So without further ado, let's jump into this. I'm not going to go into too much detail again, like I said, but I'll basically just name them. So for sketching, I'm a big fan of the, hang on, the name rubbed off. These are the Pentel Twist Erase GT, and I like them in size 0.5. It really depends on, you know, a preference really, but I really like these pencils because the eraser's really nice and it's really squishy here, and I like these for both drawing and writing, so these are pretty cool. And I also really love the Pilot Color Eno. These automatically come in size 0.7, so there's not really much you can do about that, but there's also an eraser here, and the colors, they're beautiful pastel-y light colors. The lead is actually quite soft for like a colored pencil. I'm actually really impressed with them, so they rub out actually really nicely, so I really like these for like construction lines, and then they actually rub out really well on the paper, so I really love these. So that's pretty much all I use for sketching really. Like I think I prefer colors, like color sketching more than using graphite. So as for erasers, this is the Moo eraser. The writing on it came off though, but I freaking love this eraser. It erases really well. It leaves not that many shavings. See, it didn't leave any shavings. The only downside to it though is that it stinks. It just smells like, as my friend called it, just like burning tires. It doesn't really smell that good, but it erases really nicely. So if the smell is a problem, I do not recommend that. But otherwise, I freaking love it. And for little detail erasing, this is a mono, I think it says Knock 3.8 Tombow. The eraser is just really small. As you can see, it's really nice for detail work. The eraser just works really well, and I really recommend that one. And now for inking supplies. So I am mostly, right now at least, into the Le Pen drawing pens. I prefer to use 0.3. That is my preferred pen size to work at. It really depends, again, on how big you draw or just your preferences. I like 0.3 though. I dabble a lot in a lot of different like drawing or lining pens. But I really like these because I don't know, I just really like the nibs, and it doesn't smudge at all with Copics, which is basically a need for me, and they're also waterproof, so you can use watercolors on them. I also really like the Copic multi-liners. I use multicolored inks when I draw because it gives it sort of a softer look. The Copic multi-liners are really nice. I actually prefer the disposable Copic multi-liners over the, hang on, let me grab one, the SPs, because the only difference between these and these are that these you can change the nibs and change the ink, whereas these you can't. Once they're dead or once the nib breaks, you just had to check them out. But these you can change all that stuff. But I prefer these over the SPs because, like, I don't know, the ink flow is nicer and the nibs are better in my opinion. So that's that. I know a lot of people really like the, what are they even called? Pigma Micron pens. I actually really don't like them. My reason for not liking them is really stupid. It's because they smudge with Copics, so, or at least in my experience. And with brush pens, I really love the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen. Oh, I just dropped a lot of stuff. I keep dropping stuff. Okay, the Pentel, hang on, let me get a swatch page open somewhere. Okay, the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, it gets really nice, really thin lines, and you can also get really thick lines. These are so nice. I am in love with these. So that's my recommendation for brush pens. And that's pretty much it for inking. Again, I just use multicolored inks because it gives it a softer look. And I mean, I almost forgot about this. These are, this is my G pen. That's all I keep in there is my G pen. With my G pen, you just get these nibs and you put the nib on and you dip it in ink. So this is the ink that I use. It is the Super Black by Speedball India ink. I just threw out the box because I'm stupid. But it's really dark, really black, waterproof, Copic proof. It works for like sepia tones, stuff like that. This is the Winsor & Newton calligraphy ink. And I also like Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay ink. These are also really nice. These colors are both really nice. This is just a darker brown. This is like a lighter sepia one. So, now let's move on to highlights. So for highlights, Jelly Rolls are really good for highlights, especially if you're a beginner, because these are really cheap and they're really easy to find. However, the Jelly Rolls are really good for fine detail work, but I find that the Uniball Signo, just Uniball Signo, I think they also come in broad. I don't think this is broad, but they're really nice. I'm not gonna almost doodle on here, but you don't want to see the steals. So the ink is really nice and opaque. The only downside is that the nib, or the like where the ink comes out, it's quite big, so it's kind of hard to get detail. So that's where I come in with Jelly Rolls. So that's pretty much all I use for highlights. Now let's move on to coloring. So as you already pretty much know about me, I am a Copic marker fanatic. I love this stuff. Beautiful markers, alcohol based. The only downside though is that they are super expensive. So this is what they look like if you don't know. You got the chisel end and your brush tip. These are the sketch markers. I'm pretty sure that the Copic originals have like a bullet tip and a chisel tip, so they don't have the brush end, I'm pretty sure. And the Copic Chows are basically a smaller version of this. They have the same brush tip, same chisel tip. It's just that they're smaller and their barrels are round, and they don't have the color names on them. So that's just a note. Yeah. So yeah, only downside of these is that they're super expensive. If you live in the US, that's about $6 a marker. Depends on where you're buying, but usually it's about $6. So that is a lot of money to invest in a marker. So I actually recommend, I've seen a lot of videos on it, the Spectrum Noir. They're basically like a Copic marker duplicate. And get this, they now come with brush ends on them. I can't believe this. Like, friggin' Spectrum Noir coming out with their brush tips. Where were you like 3 years ago when I started Copics? So, yeah, that's what I use for markers. I haven't tried any other marker type besides Crayola, but those are water-based, so pshaw. So for watercolors, I don't do a lot of watercolor stuff, but when I do, the Sacre Coeur Pocket Field sketch box. These are my babies. These are my watercolor babies. Like, they work so beautifully. Like, if you're an amateur or like someone who's really advanced at watercolor, these will work for you. They're super user-friendly, super easy to use. So, yeah. And I don't have a lot of experience with expensive watercolors, but I have a lot of experience with cheap watercolors, and those are much better than those. So, and while we're on the topic of watercolors, these are the Finetech or Phonetic. I'm pretty sure it's Finetech, but these are, how do we describe them? They're like lustrous watercolors, watercolor paints. Well, all watercolor paint. I'm stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. Basically like gold paint. Gold paint is what it is. You just use a bit of water with a brush, and you can add gold or like silver on top of them, on top of your drawings, I'm sorry, and yeah, they come out really nicely, and I really recommend them. They're pretty cheap. I can't remember how much they were. I think I don't know how much they were. This is totally optional, but I'm just a nerd, so I have a brush that I use to sweep off eraser shavings. But hey, this is a video of what I use, and that's what I use. So, next up are jelly rolls. These are just a bunch of random jelly rolls. I got a big set of them for my birthday this year. I just use these for, like, if I want just, you know, detail in a certain color that I want to be, like, super opaque, then I go with the jelly rolls. They're really cheap as well. It's about, I don't know, like $1 or $2 per pen, so that's that. I just want to talk about brushes. This is the only brush I have ever liked in my life. It is the Winsor & Newton Cotman. I believe I'm saying that correctly. Cotman. This brush is so nice. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just so nice. Like, I think it's squirrel hair. I'm not sure. It might be fake hair. I don't really know. It just works really well for my purposes. So if you're an amateur like me at watercolor, then I recommend the Winsor & Newton Cotman brush. So that's pretty much it for coloring and stuff like that. I guess I could move on to paper and just sort of more accent-y stuff. So, this, I should say, is my washi tape box. Oh, don't look at that. So this is all the washi tape I have. It's quite a bit. I am a washi tape fanatic. I am in love with this stuff. So basically, it's just a tape where it has like a design printed on it, and it's really thin, so you can cut through it really easy, and it's a little bit see-through, so whenever you just want to add like a quick pattern to something, you can just paste it on there, get an X-Acto knife, and just cut around it, and then you get really nice details that way. So I am in love with this stuff. I'm a little bit obsessed with it. So that's where I keep my washi tape. And now I'll move on to paper. So for paper with Copic markers, I really recommend the Express-It blending card. This paper, Copics blend super beautifully on it. Excuse me. The only problem with it is expensive and hard to find. But if you live in Australia, which is where it is, and if you live anywhere else, you have to get it imported. But it is really, really nice. And I hear that a duplicate for this paper is the Hammermill digital copy cover, something like that. Apparently, it's pretty much the same exact paper, except way cheaper and way easier to find. But I don't know. I haven't really done like research on it, so I don't know. But this works really well for me. I've only had this pack of it, and I haven't run out yet. And yeah, it's super nice. Just really recommend this paper for Copics. As for sketchbooks, I'll just talk really quickly about sketchbooks. Really in what I've found is any Strathmore, this brand Strathmore, any sketchbook made by this brand, or anything really made by this brand, is just really nice quality. I really like this paper. It's really good for mixed media, which is what it's meant for. Watercolor's a little iffy on it, but pretty much anything you put on this paper it can handle, so I really recommend this brand, just this brand of anything. There's also the Fabriano sketchbooks that I really like. The paper's a little thin, but the sketchbooks themselves are super cheap, and it's really worth your money. A little bit on the more expensive side, hang on, let me find where I put it. It fell on the ground. Okay, let me find a different one. This isn't, okay, no, I won't show that. Okay. This is a Moleskine. Ignore what I wrote here, but it's a Moleskine sketchbook. This is the really big size, so it doesn't even fit fully in the frame, but, see, Moleskine. These are the I just call them the fancy sketchbooks. If you're looking for a super high quality sketchbook, this is your brand to get. They're pretty expensive. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe I'll put a little annotation at the bottom of how much they cost. But if I remember correctly, they're pretty expensive. So if you're a cheapo like me, or you can't afford them, then this probably isn't the sketchbook for you. But aside from that, this is what I use. It's super nice. Yeah. I think it's worth your money, but other people might disagree with me. So that's pretty much it for sketchbooks, I believe. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. So I thought I'd just sort of show you guys, what's going on with, all the supplies that I use and which ones I recommend, which ones I don't, and the reasons why. In the future, I do plan, however, to make a more in-depth video. Like, I'll go over why I like certain things, and I'll have like a video demonstration comparing things. So that is the plan for the future, and thank you for watching, and I'll hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye!